Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Before we get started today, I just want to quickly mention that I've changed the name of my YouTube channel from Lexi Velvet to Nutrilicious because it just fits the mood and the topics more. Okay, so I just thought I would mention that. All the videos are still here, I've only simply changed the name. So today's topic is the 4 Agreements. The 4 Agreements is a book written by a man called Don Miguel Ruiz. He is a Mexican author, and he wanted to share the Toltec philosophy. So Toltec is a spirituality-based philosophy followed by many Mexican and South American people and other people around the world, but that's really where it came from. And these 4 philosophies for the 4 Agreements are something that will make our lives more joyful, will make our lives, make us more grateful, will make life easier. Because I do believe that many of us, not all of us, but many of us, a huge percentage, make life more difficult than it has to be. Life was not meant to be difficult. Life was meant to be, spiritual experience, with ease and love and joy. So these 4 philosophies will help with that. And it literally will help you have a more fulfilling life, and any beliefs that you have, self-beliefs about yourself and things that are holding you back, this will greatly help with that. So like anything else, this is a daily practice. If you're interested and want to get the book, The 4 Agreements, it's a very popular book. It's only about this big. I read it about, 12 years ago, and it's very, very simple. Like the 4 things are very simple, but they're not. The thoughts are simple, but it's not easy to do. So you have to practice it every day. It's just like everything else, like people will go on a diet and they're all gung-ho at first, and then they just realize, think it's too much work, or they don't like the food, or life was easier when they weren't dieting, and they get back off the wagon. This is the same sort of thing. You need to focus every day on this, and it has to be more important to you to have a better life than it's not. So this is something, again, daily practice every single day to see results and to benefit from these 4 philosophies. So the first of the 4 agreements is to be impeccable with your word. So impeccable, the origin of that is without sin. That's what it means. So even if you're not religious, this can still apply. So basically, you want to have your words to be positive. You want your words to mean well. You want your words to be loving. You want your words to be kind. You don't want to be gossiping. You don't want to be crap talking people. You don't want to be complaining. Complaining is a very negative energy. You don't want to be, sort of miserable and complaining about things. So if you find this hard to do, which you will at first, because we're so conditioned to be, miserable and how's your day? How was your weekend? Like we're so conditioned, most of us, to do that. If it's really hard for you to do at first, then you know what? There's that old saying, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything. So sometimes people will say something to me and I don't necessarily agree with it, or I just find they're being negative. I just don't say anything. And, they might go like, did you hear me? And I'll go, yep, I heard you, So just don't say anything at first if you find this difficult to do, and it will be difficult to do. And this goes for yourself as well, like how you talk to yourself. And because words are so powerful, words become thoughts, which sometimes become actions, which become manifestations, which, it snowballs, it snowballs, it snowballs. So you want that snowball to be positive. So be impeccable with your words to others and to yourself, most importantly. So that's the first agreement. The second agreement is not easy to do as well, but it's a simple philosophy, and that is do not take anything personally. So I always say, if we knew how many angry people and how many miserable people, like I just spoke about that, and, negative people, how they treat us is not a reflection of us. It's a reflection of them, So we take a lot of things personally. Somebody's had a bad day. We don't even know them. If you're working and you work with the public, or it doesn't matter, if someone you don't know, driving and cuts you off. And some people take this very, very personally. Or sometimes somebody will be rude, and I hear people go, what did I do to them? Like, you didn't do anything to them. They're having a bad day. They're in a miserable spot, or who knows, maybe they found out they have cancer this morning. Like, you don't know what anybody else is going through. So how we treat others as well. I mean, think about yourself when you've been miserable and you've been having a bad day. We project that on other people, and it's not fair and it's not right. But, it's not our job to point that out to them. Our job is to not take that personally, not carry that burden, not carry that negative energy with us, be compassionate. Again, we don't know what anybody else is going through, but don't take things personally. I hate to tell you guys, but it's not all about you. It really is. It's not. So let's just stop taking things personally and overanalyzing the crap out of everything about how people treat us. That same person that's had that bad morning or got that bad diagnosis or was in a car accident or whatever happened, maybe their kids are sick and they're running around, they haven't slept all night. That same person having a good day would treat you a lot differently, probably, right? So don't take it personally at all. The third one is do not make assumptions. Now, this is very rampant. Like, people will be like, oh, I heard this and I heard that, and or just because somebody that was in a similar situation, now somebody else that's in that situation, so you just put labels on people or just assume things about people, or just somebody says something to you and it doesn't make any sense and you go home and go, oh my God, like, did they really mean this? Did they really mean that? And it goes along with not taking things personally, but it's in a different kind of category. So there's a famous saying, when you assume, ASSUME, you make an ass out of you and out of me. So the best way to deal with assumptions is to simply, if something's not clear or if you are wondering something about, ask them. Just ask somebody. Don't assume anything about anybody. Just ask somebody if you need clarification or if it's something's weighing on your mind. Like, let it go. Let it go. Just come out and ask somebody. So don't assume. The fourth agreement is always do your best. Now, most parents, this is what they tell their kids every day. And I think it's a great message, right? And hopefully you heard it as a kid. Just go do your best. Always just do your best. Do your best. Always do your best. Well, what about us as adults, right? Like, we need to also be doing our best for whatever our capacity is for that day. So some days you're going to be a rock star. You're going to kill it. Your day's going to be awesome. That's you doing your best, right? And then other days you might be tired, or you might be depressed, or you might be anxious about something, or something is, you're worried about, again, your kid's sick, or whatever the situation is. Do your best with what you have where you are. So you just do your best, as the best that you can do. And this also, can be applied to anything. This can be applied to where you work. So if you're miserable and you're working somewhere and you're like, I don't care. Why do I care about this place? I'm just not going to, you're not doing anybody a favor. You're not doing yourself a favor, because if you're not doing whatever your job is, whether you hate it or not, if you're not doing it properly, it's, again, this ripple effect, and it's going to affect other people, and it's going to affect your day and your productivity and your misery and your energy. So no matter what it is that you do for a living, do your best. And forget it, even if you're not getting paid to do something, like, do your best, whatever it is, with good intentions. Because again, that's going to snowball and make it clarify like what the rest of the day is going to be like. Or the rest of your life's going to be like. And also, I'll give you an example. Like, if you're working somewhere and you're miserable and somebody else comes in, like, we don't know, like, you don't know who that person is that's coming into your work, or maybe a coworker that works. You don't know. So when you go in to work and be, good morning and be whatever, the coworkers might make fun of. Who cares? Who cares what people think? Again, this is about you. So if you're putting on a great job and you've got great customer service skills, for an example, even if you're a waitress or a server and you serve this table and they were so impressed with you, you never know. Maybe this person has a company. Maybe this person will come back and say, you know what, you're really good. Like, do you want to come work for me? Like, you don't know. And I've heard stories about this happen all the time. And, you have to make the best, again, of where you are, of the best of that situation. So always do your best, no matter what it is, no matter if it's at home, whatever the situation is, at work, at school, wherever you are, just always do your best. So those are the 4 agreements. And again, it's really important to practice these daily and to be aware of how you are, and always gauge how you're doing with this. And nobody expects anybody to be perfect on the first day or first month or 3 months. It's a process. But I do promise you that, you know, even if you're not doing it all the time, you catch yourself, as long as you can bring yourself back, and it's a learning process, right? But I promise you, if you try these techniques, and you will be so much more aware of you, you'll be so much more aware of your emotions and of your thoughts and more in control, and you will see your life change. You will notice your life changing. And you know what? You will become a more positive person and more joyful. And to me, who doesn't want to be more joyful? You know, so try these things out. Try the 4 agreements out. Grab the book if you can. I'm sure it's at every chapter's, you know, possible. It's one of the best books I've ever read. I read it about 12 years ago, and I'm so grateful to the person who actually lent it to me at that time, and I ended up getting my own copy. And as I said, I've lent it out a few times and I didn't get it back, but that's okay. Whoever has it last, I'm sure they really need it, and I can always get the audio version, and I do remember what the 4 principles are and the 4 agreements are. And whenever I feel like I'm sort of going off track, I do a little bit of a review. Am I doing these things? Am I doing these things? And you know what? When I do follow these 4 agreements, I am a much happier, joyful, positive person to be around. And I want that for you too. So if you have any thoughts on this, let me know in the comments below, or send me a private message on Facebook at Nutrilicious. I am Lexi.velvet on Instagram. And be well. I hope this works for you, and I know it will work for you. So let me know, give me some feedback, and remember, do this daily, okay? Have a great day, be well. Talk to you soon.